Hello everybody, what's up? My name is HeFe and welcome to the first episode of First-timer. With me is my co-host. I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Sure. My name is Tsapang. A lot of people know me as Stix. I don't know why I'm here, but this guy will tell me as we go on.
Yeah. The reason why you are seeing us on the screen, on your screen, is because I found a need for us to have a podcast about fathers, fatherhood, and first-time fathers. This is also for not yet fathers, right?
True.
Yeah, so I found it very important to have this conversation, this discussion, because the conversation amongst my Tyma regarding
True.
Bara, you understand?
Yeah.
So today I want to talk about the first child. Like, just you have kids, right?
True.
I just became a father,
Yeah.
so now I just want to learn from you and other fathers, and maybe Motoshe will learn from us and
True.
RFA the opinions the tips on how they are taking care of their kids, right? So just give us a brief description. Like, how did you feel when you had your first child?
Feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings. Before I answer that, I'd like to point out also, like, from the hood we come from.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of conversations they look beyond the child itself, because some of the problems we have as first fathers is that we assume no, we're gonna be fathers and it's gonna be it, right? Culturally, traditionally, we've not been allowed to have those kind of conversations whereby you're having a child at a time where you're not sure your things, and then during the pregnancy, it all feels like it's gonna be popo.
Yeah.
Then the child comes, and then this comes in, and that comes in. So it's also the platform for even older dads to come to us and explain these kind of things, so that because in our current era, fathers are there, they are present now, but now they're red taped by things that we do not know nothing about. They know and parodies.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So as you like and subscribe and come back to the channel, please bring people. But
that subscribe button.
yeah, we're gonna talk about those things. First child, no child. Tell the truth. Since we're gonna be on an honest platform, my first child came through a bit of a complication. At that time, and then I went back to the mother of my child because we had broken up before. And it was a hectic period, and and then I had to, like, and then come back here now, because now there's children involved. So initially, when I got the news, like, in fact, for me it was essential thing. In fact, the day that my son Tikenke was conceived, I felt it. I don't know how, but it could be because I'm an empath, but I felt it. And maybe you had the same experience. You'll tell your part. I felt on that day we conceived, I'm gonna have a child, and I told my girlfriend, and she's like, "Nah, man, you play." 2 months later, and then she didn't have the whole morning sickness and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, dude, you are changing." And she's like, "Hey, I'm not changing. Go to the doctor.
Go find out.
Yeah. She went, she found out, and she's like, "Bruh, I am pregnant."
It's happening.
From the walk from the doctor, we walked for about like 200 meters, and she stopped and just started crying.
Shit.
So the excitement that I had initially just disappeared at that moment. Like,
what the hell have I?
the reality is about to sink in now. What am I gonna do? And then I managed to calm her down. We went through the process, and D-Day came. 16th September 2015. I was at work, and she calls me and says, "Bruh, it's happening." I couldn't get off work. So she said, first feeling, fear. It was not even in ambivalence, but it was like proper fear, not even indifference, just genuine fear, like this nigga is coming right now. Came through, I went to the hospital, I got there, she had already given birth. So one, after the fear came disappointment that I was not there during the process. I was not there during the process, so one disappointing moment for me. But she understood I was at work because she was not working. I had to make sure when she comes to the bus, mash. This bloody nigga,
damn it,
Mashatu.
You had it rough.
Bruh, so yeah, then I see him for the first time. The first time I see him, he looked exactly like my late brother. And he was next to me, my older brother. Rest in peace. So that he was here, and I'm looking, I was like, hey nigga, this nigga looks like you. I was like, hey man, this is what we do. This is what we do, nigga. And I couldn't touch him.
Why couldn't you touch him?
When he was born, it was at a time the hospital had done some renovations or something, so they had to intubate him immediately from outside venereal diseases. So I couldn't touch. From the mother, he went straight into that incubation thing. So I only managed to touch him like 10 days later or something like that. So for me, I was very detached from my son in the beginning. I didn't feel anything. Like most timers, when I saw him, my world changed.
I saw her,
something like that. I did. In fact, it only happened with my second child. But with that nigga, I was like, hey, Mona, you are here.
Damn it.
Let's get to work. And that was it. And then from then on, it was just building relationships with the nigga up until this point.
Yeah, with me, it was something totally different. Literally about a year ago now, right? In a few days now, it's gonna be our 1 year anniversary, and I remember Herkopan. I was somewhat of a yo brother. What kind?
What is that
relationship? It was like a friendship type of relationship, right?
Okay.
But now when I met her the first time, I knew she was gonna be my girl, right? Fast forward a few weeks later, she was a virgin, by the way, 23-year-old virgin. It was scary as fuck. Like, but then, you know, when we started doing the deed and whatnot, few weeks later, she says to me, Ejo, I think you just knocked me up. I'm like, okay.
How long into the relationship was this?
I think this was not more than 8 weeks.
Anyway, go on. Go on, man. Say.
So when that happened, we like, okay, cool. We were talking before she got pregnant already. We wouldn't want this, we don't want that with our child. You know how funny it gets. Until we are financially okay, not even married, but you know,
stable enough, secure enough.
We were like, okay, cool, we're not gonna do that. But for some reason, we just never used protection, right? Cool. Fast forward a few months later, Bo is here, and I'm like, okay. The day of, I heard from her sister, water broke, she's going to the hospital. Okay. Rush off to the hospital. This is before So, okay, cool. He calls me up, hey Joe, I got a job for you. And I'm like, thank God. Let's hope this happens. Right. I rush off to him, and I was running up and down between Spania and hospital. Because her water broke today, she gave birth the next day. For some weird reason, I don't know how. And I was in the delivery room, right? Beautiful. She's there. And I'm nervous. She's not. Are you not nervous? She's like, I'm okay. So she goes under general anesthesia, and
was it natural or
no? It wasn't natural, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Was it unfortunate?
No, because hey,
Because it doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen to you.
And
you're not going through the process. Why would you say that it was
the part is I felt the pain for her on Talai because it has mathata ko pele, having cesarean because you don't completely heal on Talai. And after giving also and I'm like, damn it, this is really here. This is really happening on Talai. I started having flashbacks because now I was raised by a household full of women on Talai. I don't know how it feels to have a father. I don't know what it is or what it takes to be a father. Only things I've ever had as fathers is guys like you know, my friends, my brothers. That's the only thing I know as a male role model, positive male role model in my life. How do I now become a father? Worse than all, bro. A baby girl instead of a guy, because I thought, hey man, it's gonna be a guy, you know, that'll be a guy. It's gonna be much easier with the guy.
When you finish, I want to go back to this because we had this conversation.
We had this conversation.
But anyway, finish first.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey man, it's gonna be a guy. I hope it's a guy. When we found out that it's a girl, I was like, you know what? It's fine. We'll navigate through it.
Yeah,
we'll find a way. And then the baby gets born, like you said, the lotasid so and whatnot. Now I can't see my kid, right? Okay, I can see my kid, but on her parents' terms.
Yes.
And only when they allow.
Yes.
Her side of the family, everybody on her side of the family can see my kid. Nobody on my side of the family can see the kid. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? So, every now and again. And it's things like this, I think, some kids grow up without fathers because Tyma fuck, I'm being mistreated. And I'm not saying that should happen. Yes. I'm not saying that's what fathers should do. And I'm not blaming the mothers or the family. Yeah. I'm not blaming, I'm not pointing a finger at anyone. All I'm saying, why can't we just say, Himuna, sharp, we understand this culture, but culture evolves as time, change. Why can't we modify culture, customs and traditions? Go back to that.
Before I ask you that question again, what I get from you, man, it was a beautiful experience, especially the fact that you got to experience the birth thing and everything, because I didn't have that. What I found out recently, first-time fathers, they feel entitled to the child, which legally is fine.
You understand?
But I believe, or I've come to believe, that there's a reason why certain customs and traditions should be followed in order for you to access the child the way you're supposed to access them. And then you may disagree with me. I don't have a problem with that. What I'm saying to you is, if as you have to point it out right now,
yeah,
which means firstly, Mere Mahawe has not had the kind of experience that you've had.
Yeah.
Outside the two of you.
Yeah.
Right? Secondly, because you have not that thing. Because you have not put yourself forward to say that, okay, trust me with your daughter. That is why the red tape comes in. And I've had to experience it myself. Mere is older than Mere Mahawe, and I have more access to her and my child than you do. But also I had to navigate around these things to be able to also have a look into myself. Or okay, I need to place myself where the family feels, or okay, or singing. But secondly, now that you're singing, we can now be comfortable with saying we've given off our daughter to you. Lady Clovel's are not to you, to say, okay, now she doesn't have to come back home. You are not going home either. Place the things in the right order, so that when we say no, we actually mean it.
Yeah.
We're not saying and then you know what I mean? So on that, I think it's something, as you said, that kind of evolution is a conversation we need to throw in there, so that we enable first fathers to understand that in as much as legally this is your child and biologically, there are certain things that help you understand that you need to be a proper man first for the rest of the family to say, because
Yeah.
but the family may need to say, hey, man, what if he's a man?
Yeah.
And those are the things we need to look at. That question you need to get composed on. We had a conversation. I want to ask you first, like, why do you feel that having a boy child is better than having a girl child?
Like I said, coming from a household led by women, right? I know nothing about being a woman, right? And the way they raised us, they didn't also know how to raise us because they didn't have men in their lives, right? But it was a we'll deal with it when we get there. You understand, type of situation. And you'll find that not all of us were molded the way they would have liked us to be, right? Because we were as it went. And not all of us turned out great. Not all of us turned out bad, right? But had maybe there been a guy would have said, hey, Majita, la flopada. Majita, don't do this. Because he would now be talking from somewhat experience. He was once a boy into a young man and became a father. You understand? I think for me, I'm not saying I'm right.
Okay. No, I understand what you're saying, but throughout the things that you've learned in your life and the things that you've managed to expose to other people who are older than you, do you necessarily think that the things that you've learned from the women around you were somewhat obsolete?
No.
Let me give you an example. If you, as leader, Stix, you're fucking up, bruh. You're capable of this, you do this, and right now you've just given yourself into shit that does not have anything to do with you. Come the fuck back. Okay? Now, don't you at some point find light in understanding that I may have not had a father, but I think that process enabled me to say that I can have a vast view of children, regardless if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, no, I think it does, but for me, I think it's more of a fear thing.
Okay.
You understand?
True.
I'm afraid of failing this young girl.
Okay.
You understand? It's more of a fear thing than a control thing.
Okay.
You understand? Because, yo, I don't want to have to direct this child into something, say, Lord, I'm not comfortable with tomorrow. You understand? Like, with most fathers, I'm not gonna say, but right? Like in my current situation, right? Or taxi driver. I was expecting her to date a graduate, you understand, a physician or whatever. Dog, your expectations are your expectations. That's it. There's nothing you can do in terms of choice. All you can do is try and direct them in the right way. But whatever they like is what they like. Whatever they feel like doing is what they feel like doing. So instead of being bitter as a Tyma, why not you understand? You know, we, especially from Kasir to Amokon, we are more street boys than anything, right? We are you understand? And it would be easier for me to fight rather than to bring this boy down and try and say, hey, what are your intentions? Because she's my daughter. I have to look out for her. But there comes a point in life more, how do we then have that conversation? It's just a matter of fear for me.
You know what I think happens sometimes, in any situation. I think any father, whether they're raising a boy or they're raising a girl, they never detach themselves from wanting a better life for them. Now, a better life is a relative. I get it. So the assumption would be that, if they were with a physician or a lawyer, their life would be, exponentially better, than having somebody who right? Now, what I think also is that if you are in that situation, always assume the role I'm there for the child within your space. Don't look around for anybody else. Within your space, assume the role of okay. Now I'm here. The first person I know to prove to, or I'm here. Here I'll see you. One kind of by you treating I'll see you the way they're supposed to be treated. This message will eventually get to the skeptical father. From then on, you are not going to have any other conversations with anybody else. One kind of. So I believe in that sense. That's how it's always going to be easier for you to circumvent issues whereby you feel the time I want to solve. Because there's a possibility that even Lene during his first-timer days there were those kind of issues, and the only way he managed to pull through them is asserting the issue of everything else will go out to everybody who's looking.
Definitely. But I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
Why
it's easier than for me, Joe.
Because with you, your first kid was a boy.
He's a boy,
right?
Yeah.
And I always say, this boy looks exactly like you.
Nah, that
right? And you're like,
nothing like me. Nah.
You keep saying that. It's been
That's true.
It's been how many years now?
He's turning 9. He's turning 9 next month.
9 years now. You've been saying the same thing.
He still doesn't. This nigga still does not look like me. Check it. Like the thing is, my son looks like my brother's children. Like I don't know how it works, but my late brother and I look alike.
Yeah.
Our kids look alike.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just a genetic thing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really look like me. He has features that you could say, okay, no, Stiga. One of the worst thing he got from me, the worst, is my big ass toe and my terrible hair color and texture. If you see him now, like, oh dude, I messed you up there. But everything else, he's more like his mother. He's outspoken and artistic like his mother. For me, I'm a branch of everything. So whenever there's something I see in my son, I can pick it up. Okay, daddy picks up for me. But he's like, in terms of personality, he's more like his mother. It's just that he's a boy. He likes the things that I do. Yeah. If I cut like this, he wants to cut like that. I want to play this sport. He wants
influence.
To play. Yeah, it's like that kind of influence. Yeah. So I don't really think that nigga looks like me. He has some resemblance. He has some resemblance, but really.
check out our website, First-timer, actually onetimer.co.za, and check out our WhatsApp channel, First-timer. It's just like that, First-timer. It's 1ST space capital TYMA, but it's right here down on your screen. You should be able to see it. All our social media links and all that, it's right there. Now there's one other thing I want to ask you. Relationships, right? If you saw in the book what I wrote at the back, compatibility. Right, compatibility. Like I just had my first kid at 30, right? I don't know at what age you had, but I think it was somewhere around that. Yeah. And when I look at most of my peers, niggas I went to school with, some of them had kids at 16, right? Which is not a good age, but we're not judging anyone.
To each his own.
18, 20, 22, right? At 26, most of my peers have like 2. At 28, they have about 2, 3, right? I know one peer of mine that's 30 now, he has 4. When I was driving a taxi for the first time in my life. So, he's a petrol guy, right? Hey, money. So, so he's like, hey, I'm like, yeah, right? He's like, hey, Tyma. Next year. Number 4, yeah. Number 4. I'm like, what? Bro, you and I are the same age. You on 4. I think he should be one of the guests on the show. Hey, bro. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
For allowing this to happen, even though it didn't happen like we planned.
Yeah, man, this is a
but
start.
It happened. Right? We had to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And we need to say shout out to Mommy.
Thank you
for
Mommy.
Helping us out.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. This was episode 1 of First-timer. I'm your host, HeFe, and there's my co-host Stix. Unfortunately, Vince couldn't make it, but we'll see him as time goes by. We'll see him.
Sure.
Salute.
Happy Women's Day, yo, nigga.
Yo,
Yeah.
woman, sorry,
Yo,
Shit, look at us.